Okay, Brant Miller's here watching the radar for us.
Stefan, we talked about earlier a Barron tornado index number of 5.2, which gets your attention. We now have an active tornado warning in Kankakee County. Let's go right to it here, and you can see what's going on. Let's go to weather 2 if you can. You can see that's looking at what we're seeing as far as the velocities there. Huge circulation here across Kankakee County. There's Kankakee, and all of this moving off to the east. Let's hop over to weather source 2 if we can, and we'll give you an idea what's happening here as this continues to move off to the east. Again, an active tornado warning just issued for Kankakee County. You can see what's going on there. At this point, okay, take a look here. You can see right here. Here's the pendant. Here's the mesocyclone. Here's the rotation, and here's where you are in danger. If you're in Aroma Park, if you're in Otto, if you're in Kankakee, seek shelter now. This is an active tornado warning, and you saw the signature there. This is an active rotation here that's moving off to the north. Okay. All right, I'm just hearing we have a tornado on the ground. Get to your safe place immediately. If you're in Kankakee, Aroma Park, Otto, this is moving off to the north and east at 24 miles per hour. Earlier, we shared that Barron tornado index of a 5.2, a precursor to what is a tornado on the ground at this point. You can see the rotation here, and again, the motion going to the northeast around 24 miles per hour. Get to your safe place. Where is it? That's a strong interior room away from windows. Center of the basement, Bourbonnais, Kankakee. Keep in mind what you're looking at here. It may be only a minute old, but it's history. This thing is already on you. Do not attempt to take pictures of this. If you're not in a safe place, get to it now. If you've got a cell phone, tell your neighbors. Be aware of the fact that this thing has the potential to be a destructive tornado. It is on the ground, it is not radar indicated, and it is moving toward Kankakee, Bourbonnais. You see the general motion off to the north and east around 24 miles per hour. So it's not moving as fast as some of these previous thunderstorms were moving. Earlier we had large damaging hail. That hail will continue, but what we're seeing now is that circulation and a tornado on the ground. We've been watching the activity in Kankakee County all afternoon, and this is that same cell that was to the west. Look what we're seeing here as far as strong rotation. Look at that number, the red blotch there. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm getting some information just to the west of the airport. Here's Aroma Park. It's moving off to the east at 24 miles per hour. You can see all the Barron tornado index of a 5.2. I'm not alone here. Our storm team is in place. Aisha is with us. And Aisha, we have been watching this all day long, and finally we are seeing some indication that the severity is really kicking up at this point.
Yeah, and this was the same storm that moved through Livingston County, so keep that in mind, and it had a tornado warning with it then as well. So we know that we have a tornado on the ground, as Brant mentioned, so I just want to talk about some safety here, because we know we want to take this seriously. Make sure that you have your devices charged up as well. But you can see here, tornado safety, so you want to get to the lowest part of your home. If you have a basement, that is as good as you can get. If you don't, that's okay. Maybe find a bathroom that's away from any outside windows and doors. An interior space or room, maybe a closet. If a bathroom isn't quite close to you, evacuate any mobile homes. It's not a good idea at all whenever you have a tornado on the ground to stay in a mobile home. Also, don't forget to seek shelter. Do not seek shelter under, say, maybe overpasses. I know sometimes things have been going back and forth with that over the years, but you don't want to get under any overpasses. And Brant, we can actually hear the
thunder of the activity thunder that's over us at this point.
Yeah.
Aisha, let's pop back over to the radar real quick and give you an idea where this is right now. Keep in mind, some of this radar information is history. It's already there. It's on you in Kankakee. It's on you in Aroma Park. You can see right along here, here's the Kankakee River. All of this is moving off to the east. Okay. Here's the airport. Here's 57. There's the curve there. This is coming up just north of the airport in Kankakee. Strong rotation. You can see that indicated here. Barron tornado index of a 5.2. General motion is off to the east around 24 miles per hour, as Aisha mentioned. Okay, we have now We have multiple reports of intense rotation and multiple vortices, like those little spinning fingers coming out of this very strong signature of a tornado. And again, it's south of Kankakee, downtown. You're looking at south, and here's the expressway, and here's the airport. You can barely make it out there, but this thing is moving off to the northeast around 24 miles per hour. It is a tornado on the ground. Now, if you're watching us and you heard us mention the sound of thunder over the city of Chicago, there's a severe thunderstorm warning that's in the Chicago area. Let's widen out. And let's give you an idea. We're getting reports of hail downtown in Chicago. This is the danger right there, but let's for a second focus on what's farther to the north. And here's the city of Chicago. We'll get up a little closer here. And this has produced some hail over the city, and that is moving out into Lake Michigan. Still an active severe thunderstorm warning until later in the evening here. We're seeing that will continue until 6:45 for the city of Chicago. But our attention turns to what's down south in Kankakee County. It's a tornado warning. There is a tornado on the ground right here, and it's moving just to the north of the Kankakee Airport. General motion is around 24 miles per hour. BTI has dropped to a 4.7, but this is still a very dangerous storm. Seek shelter now if you're in Aroma Park. This thing is probably crossing the expressway at this point and moving off to the north and east. And a general motion here. You can determine here a little bit. You can see some of the area here. This is more populated. This is not straight farm country, but this is this is moving off to the north and east. And if you can hear over our heads here at our new studios on the NBC Tower, you can hear the hail pounding the city of Chicago. Aisha, you can hear that we've got some really strong hail over the city. But this is the dangerous area. That's a tornado. That's a tornado on the ground. This is not one of those radar indicated situations. And again, if you're in Kankakee County, there's Aroma Park. Sirens should be going off. Your cell phone should be sending you the warning. Get into your safe place. Strong interior room away from windows. Center of the basement, the lowest floor. Aisha, you say this all the time. Lowest is best. Yeah. Get low. What's your exact phrase?
A pillow, a helmet. If you can, put it over your head to protect, your head. As you just never know. We have a tornado on the ground in Kankakee, so you just never know. There may be debris being lofted, and you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself as you go to your safe place. Brent has been talking about the area of circulation, so it's starting to move over Kankakee County. So I just want to show you where this is headed. So I'm actually tracking the actual area of rotation, so the actual tornado, because it has been confirmed that it is on the ground. So I just want to show you where it's headed. It's headed eastward. So here's some times, estimated times here. Sun River Terrace, it will make it to your area just about 6:30. Shadow Lawn just before 7 p.m. And again, it's this area of rotation that's now pushing through Kankakee. And we do have a confirmed tornado on the ground. It's moving to the east. So if it holds together, which it looks pretty intense, and I was just looking at the chats through the National Weather Service, and they're saying this is intense rotation. So as it continues to move off to the east, we will have to watch things really, really closely. But go ahead and get in your safe place. Again, the timing here, Shadow Lawn about 7 o'clock, Sun River Terrace about 6:30. And Brent, you mentioned the hail. I mean, these storms have been putting down some hail. Earlier today, I saw hail, and this is the diameter, 3 to 4 inches. I don't think I've seen hail that large, at least not here. I don't think I've seen it that large in my career, honestly. And
Aisha, we're getting some newer information. This is something called a correlation coefficient. What you're looking at with the radar is, are there different things out there that don't match in the atmosphere? It's sometimes you could call a debris ball. Remember what we saw in Union City last Friday? You saw that big wedge tornado with multiple vortices. That's what may be occurring at this point. We're getting indication of that. See that gray thing spinning there? That's an algorithm that tells us there is debris being lofted into the atmosphere. So this thing has picked up debris, dirt, house products, whatever's on the ground that it's lofting into the atmosphere. And there it is right now. There's the strong shear. This is just south of the main area in Kankakee, the main downtown area. If you're in Aroma Park, get to your safe place. Let's run a quick track out and give you an idea. If this thing holds together and stays on the ground, projected near Sun River Terrace. And again, moving, there's the Kankakee River. You can see this thing moving off to the north and east. And again, Aisha, this is a tornado confirmed on the ground. That spinning gray indicator, that's saying there is debris being lofted by this tornado. And again, just south of the community college at this point. That's what we're hearing. So again, seek shelter, strong. It's confirmed on the ground. It's moving to Aroma Park. Here's Aroma Park here. We're seeing another little vortex here. So sometimes, Aisha, it's not just one big tornado. You know, one of the things that I noticed that we saw over in Michigan on Friday was the debris field ahead of the actual wedge tornado was a couple of football fields wide. You could see stuff flying through the atmosphere. So you don't want to be in the path of that. And keep in mind, what you're seeing here is history. This is what the radar picked up a minute or so ago. So this thing is moving along at 25, 30 miles per hour. So these are some of the projected times. Aroma Park, 6:31, Sun River Terrace, Moments, 6:53. And again, we've been talking about this for the last several days, the potential for severe thunderstorms that would produce a tornado. And this is one on the ground, not radar indicated. And the general motion is moving off to the north and east around 25 miles per hour. Some more confirmation. We're hearing that there are power flashes. What's that? That's when a power line goes, and you see the feeder line, it's got high voltage. That transformer goes, and you'll see that pop flash of light. So power flashes indicating that there has been some damage to the power grid as the storm moves through. So that's what we're dealing with there. So that's indicative of a tornado on the ground. So confirmed tornado on the ground, moving northeast around 25 miles per hour. And again, this is in Kankakee County, and there is coming up on the Kankakee River at this point, right in here. And we're looking at debris that's being lofted into the atmosphere. So it is a confirmed dangerous situation. Get to your safe place. Sun River Terrace, you should be there now. Aroma Park, you should be there now. And again, this is moving off a dangerous situation in Kankakee County. Aisha?
So we've been watching, obviously, these storms all afternoon. These storms have also been producing, obviously, our eyes are on Kankakee, but these storms have also been producing very large hail. So I want to show you just the history of the hail and the storm reports that we've seen thus far. So the storm that's moving over the city right now, look at the hail reports with this storm as it continued to move off to the northeast. Again, I saw reports of hail 3 to 4 inches in diameter. That's Downers Grove. So we're getting reports of hail in Downers Grove too. Again, 3 to 4 inches, that is damaging hail. And I think we have some video. There we go, right there. I mean, look at that hail.
That's incredible.
I've never seen it that large before.
You know,
look at that hail.
We're going, Aisha, we're going to see some video here in Woodridge also. And look at the irregular shape of it, what we were seeing. Look at this, look at the pounding. Yeah. And we had some of that hail over the top of the NBC tower here just a few minutes ago. You can see what's going on. Look at this. I love the measurement. Coming up almost 2 inches of hail. And what we're looking at here, the mechanism, is the fact that we've got a freezing level around 11,000 feet. Tops of these up to 50,000 feet now. So you can see between the freezing level and the top of the storm, chance for those hailstones to go up, grab some moisture, supercooled water droplets fall down, go up until they finally, gravity takes hold and they drop to the south. All right, we're seeing the signature spread out a little bit. This is still an active tornado warning. On the ground, still on the ground. But let's go back again to the rotation. We shared a little bit there at the top. What we're seeing, Barron Tornado Index 4.8, still a dangerous situation, but we're not seeing, Aisha, congealed into one place, that rotation. What we're seeing here is that S shape. That's one of the things that we see on this. See how that makes a little S shape? This is indication that that is a tornado that is on the ground. It's picking up debris, and it's moving off to the north and east at a pretty good clip, around 24 miles per hour. So there is the debris detector, and what it's seeing is debris in the atmosphere being lofted by this tornado on the ground. So a very dangerous situation in Kankakee County. If you're in Aroma Park, it is on you right now. Sun River Terrace. If you're east of here, if this thing holds together, here's the state line. This is going to move over toward Schneider. It's going to move over south of Lowell, Indiana. And we start to see more populated areas here. What's interesting across the state line, a lot of communities, because of lower taxes, are over there in northwest Indiana. So keep your guard up. This may move over some agricultural country, but it's going to go into a more populated area in northwest Indiana. If you know someone that's in the path, pick up your phone, call them and say, hey, are you aware of what's going on? Do you have that NBC Chicago app? Do you have Live Doppler 5? Be prepared, because this guy is on the ground and it doesn't look like it's going to weaken at this point. It's hanging together. We're in a very precarious place.
And
okay.
there's significant damage on the south side.
Yeah, significant damage on the south side of Kankakee near I-57. So this guy is on the ground and he is tearing up South Kankakee. So get into your safe place. Sun River Terrace, you're next in line. Moments. And again, we're popping up this town, so there are other communities in between. So if you see this, get to your safe place. Call your neighbors. If you don't know if your neighbor's home or watching NBC or whatever they're doing, make them aware of the fact that this thing is moving off to the north and east toward Moments and over toward the state line. And it looks, Aisha, like this is probably going to hang together and not weaken at this point. So be prepared for this to cross the state line, and work over into northwest Indiana. And it looks like, from what we're hearing, a large wedge tornado. So this may look very much like what you saw in Michigan last Friday.
I just want to show you another estimated timing here. So what I'm tracking is the actual area of rotation. So it's the red and the greens that you see close together. This is the sign, and we actually got proof that there is a tornado on the ground. So what we're tracking here is the actual tornado. So I want to show you, it's moving off to the east about 25 or so miles per hour. So Hopkins Park, it'll move into your area just about 6:55. And then Lake Village, it'll move into your area about 7:15 or so. So this will likely cross, as Brant mentioned, cross the state line, because it doesn't seem to be weakening or slowing down, at least right now at this point. We've been talking about the hail too, so I just want to take a quick break here just to show you how much hail we've seen with these storms across the area. So the storm that has moved over the city, I mean, this has a history of producing 3 to 4 inch baseball sized hail. Also with the storm that we're currently tracking with the tornado, also producing very large hail, but obviously the tornado is what we're keeping a very close eye on. And Brant, the tornado watch, Lake and Porter counties have now been added to that tornado watch as well.
So this whole situation has been evolving this afternoon, and we were wondering exactly where we would see the tornadic development occur. And we've been watching this all afternoon. So now it is on the ground. It is confirmed. It is a large wedge tornado. You can see that it's not the Dorothy and Toto thin little vortex. It's a big wedge tornado, and typically what we were seeing too in multiple vortices. It isn't one just single rotation. You're seeing little fingers of rotation within it. And it is moving off slowly to the north and east around 20-25 miles per hour. The Barron Tornado Index, what is that? It's an algorithm that takes into consideration the shear, the buoyancy of the atmosphere, all kinds of stuff, and puts it together in a big kettle and distills it down. And in our climate, anywhere above like a 4, it really gets your attention. It was at a 5.2 initially when we saw this touch the ground. And again, you're seeing the signature here of some rotation. Difficult sometimes because this thing's already on the ground. It's throwing up debris. And so what we're looking at in the atmosphere with the Doppler radar is seeing different directions of rotation. This gives you an idea of debris detection. And this thing is chucking a lot of stuff up into the atmosphere. Is it agricultural? Is it more debris? And we're hearing that we've had some devastating debris in the south part of Kankakee. So take this seriously. If you're in Kankakee County, that thing is still churning. It is on Sun River Terrace. Keep in mind, radar is history. It may be only a minute or so old, but it gives you an idea that you need to get to your safe place. And again, here's the inflow notch, Aisha. This is where the winds are curling in. Here's the mesocyclone. Here's the circulation. And this thing is cooking, moving off to the north and east, throwing up a debris ball. And if you hear us pause in our conversation, our producer, Joey, is in the back, and he's running all this stuff. So it's not like we're stopping and having these moments here. So Aisha and I are both getting information as we're sharing it with you. Okay. Aroma Park, confirmed large, dangerous tornado moving east-northeast around 25 miles per hour, which confirms what we were seeing here, a Barron Tornado Index of a 4.9. And again, we're looking at an area that has had some destruction south of Kankakee, and the general motion is this is a strong thunderstorm. I haven't looked at the top of this thing, Aisha, as we do this. If you could take it for just a second, I'll figure out how tall this guy is. My guess is we're probably looking at something close to 50,000 feet. And what we're seeing here,
I want to talk about some of the other things because we're starting to see more storms develop back to the west. And these we got to keep a really close eye on because these are severe storms too. And they do have the tornado possible tag. So notice this cluster of storms. It's just outside of our viewing area, but it is starting to move into parts of LaSalle County. This cluster of storms is also severe. It's moving off to the north and east, and there is a tornado possible tag with it. So we're going to have to keep a very close eye on this cluster as it continues to move off to the east. Obviously, our attention has been on Kankakee as this storm continues to cross the state line and move into parts of northwest Indiana. We're going to keep an eye and obviously continue to monitor the tornado on the ground that's in Kankakee County. Keep in mind, again, we talk about this all the time, as Brant mentioned, but your safe place, we can't say it enough, interior wall or interior room, away from any walls, windows, get out of your mobile home, don't stay there if you can, and certainly find a way to continue to get alerts as well. Download our app. That's the best way. So if the power goes out, you can watch us right on your cell phone. We also had, I mentioned the hail. We had a dusting. We got a picture actually of a dusting of hail that was in downtown. So these storms, as I've mentioned, they've been producing 3-4 inch diameter hail. But again, I'm going to go back to Kankakee County because this is more urgent at the time. This tornado on the ground, a destructive tornado. I've been seeing reports in the National Weather Service chat about damage already on the south side of Kankakee. So this is going to continue to move off to the east. I want to track it one more time just to show you where the actual tornado is headed, and it is moving eastward. So as it continues to move off to the east and likely crossing the state line, again, please be prepared. You want to definitely take this seriously. So let me just go back here.
And while you're doing that, Aisha, Mike Bardu is one of the meteorologists at the National Weather Service office in Romeoville, is saying now it is likely rain-wrapped. What does that mean? That means it's after dark and you can't see it. You may be able to hear it. We're coming up on sunset at this point, and this is a very dangerous situation. Hopkins Park. Let's zoom in a little bit more. You can see moments there. Hopkins Park is right in here, and you can see what's happening. This thing is rapidly moving off to the north and east, and all these communities are in its path. A very strong inflow notch here. You can see wrapping into it. There's the rotation, the mesocyclone. And again, it's looks like it's just south of the Kankakee River at this point, and it's, whoa, look at this. 7.7, Aisha. I have never seen 7.7.
Earlier today, the National Weather Service, I was just reading the Storm Prediction Center and some of the discussions and the outlooks. And one of the things that was mentioned was the possibility for EF2 and EF3 tornadoes with any of those storms that do develop later on today. And Brant, I mean, this is a really, really strong signature that we're likely getting up there when it comes to the intensity of this tornado.
Some of those wind speeds in that EF3 over in Michigan were 150 mile per hour winds. We may be in that same territory at this point. With the Barron Tornado Index at a 7.7, this is a destructive tornado. It is on the ground. It is moving through Kankakee County, moving northeast. I don't know if I believe 66 miles per hour. It's generally moving off to the east at around 25 miles per hour at this point. Look at some of the hail size, over 2-inch diameter hail. We've had some reports of large hail from golf ball to tennis ball size, 3-inch diameter hail being reported across the area. But hail was the primary threat. Now we've got one on the ground, and it's reported to be a large wedge. We've had reports of damage south of Kankakee proper, south of the downtown area of Kankakee. We've had reports of power flashes. indicating that we've got some power lines down, high voltage flashover as the transformers and the transmission lines are destroyed. What you see there with that gray circulation, that is a product that says, hey, there's debris here. There's stuff being lofted into the air from a tornado that's on the ground. Here's where it is. There's Sun River Terrace. There's the dry slot wrapping into this thing, but that's where the circulation is, and the general motion is moving off to the north and east. We can widen out a little bit. Look at that. Look how that thing is curling up even more. Let's just go through and walk through some of these communities. There's Moments. There's Ward. You can see all the way up to Garden of Eden, Edgetown. A lot of these smaller communities, you may not be watching us right now, but if you've got a neighbor that's there, if you have family that's in Kankakee County, call them and tell them to get to your safe place. Sunset, Aisha, is 6:52. So by the time the sun sets, we've already got the cloud cover out there. You're not going to be able to see this thing. It is rain wrapped, and it is moving off to the north and east. And we talked about this earlier about the populated area on the other side of Kankakee County in Lake County in Indiana. That is the state line right there. Currently, the tornado warning only goes up to the state line, but I suspect if this thing continues on the ground, it is going to cross over into northwest Indiana. So if you're in northwest Indiana, beyond Kankakee County, get to your safe place. If you know someone that's traveling down I-65 or moving on 41 north and south, get them to their safe place. This is not the time to be traveling through Kankakee County, even over into Lake County, especially in I-65, because this is a tornado on the ground. It has no indication at this point that it is weakening, and it's continuing to move off to the north and east around 25 miles per hour. That tornado warning continues until 7 o'clock this evening, but I suspect if this signature continues, it's going to hang together and cross the state line. And again, here's where the state line lies at this point. Aisha?
Yeah, and Brant, obviously we're watching Kankakee County, but I just want to show you the severe thunderstorm warnings that we have with the storms that are just outside of our viewing area, but they're starting to move into some of the counties in our viewing area. So for instance, here we've got this cluster of storms, and this is all tornado possible. So let me zoom out a little bit, and as I press play here. All right, let me show you what we're dealing with. So we've got this cluster of storms. I just talked about these. These are moving generally to the north and east, but already starting to move into LaSalle County. And these are severe storms with, once again, hail over 2 inches in diameter. So we're talking tennis ball, possibly baseball size hail with these severe storms. And also they do have a tornado possible tag, which obviously means that these storms could produce a tornado. It's moving off to the north and east. And obviously we've got plenty of lightning with these storms too. So we're going to have to watch these as they continue to move into LaSalle County and also Lee and Ogle counties. Let me show you, we're still watching Kankakee County because we do still have that tornado on the ground. And as Brent mentioned, they have not extended the tornado warning just yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they do extend it. But what we're watching here is this area of circulation just south of Moments. It's moving off to the east about 25 or so miles per hour. And I want to put a track on this just to show you where it's headed. Again, it hasn't been extended, the actual tornado warning. But if this tornado stays on the ground, Lake Village, it's going to move into your area almost 7:15. Again, this is a confirmed tornado, intense, strong tornado that we got reports of. There were pictures actually posted in the National Weather Service chat. So this is a wedged tornado that is on the ground. It's moving east about 25 miles per hour. So if you're in this warning, basically central and eastern Kankakee County, you should already be in your safe place. But I just put a tracker on the actual area of rotation, so the actual tornado, and it's moving eastward. So Lake Village, it'll get to your area just about 7:15 if this actually holds together and if it stays this intense, Brant.
And Aisha, we're getting some reports of some damage, some roofs taken off in Aroma Park. There's going to be significant damage here across Kankakee County. This is one on the ground. This is a large wedge tornado. Let's re-up and give you an idea of what we're dealing with. Okay, now this is extended as a severe thunderstorm warning into northwest Indiana. They did not continue the tornado warning Let's see if this thing holds together. You can see it's got a Barron tornado index of a 5, still a significant tornado on the ground. Will it hold together as it moves across the state line? We'll continue to monitor this with our continuous coverage here on NBC5. And we're using our brand new studios with Aisha. So we've got the technology here to bring you information to keep you safe. And what we're looking at here is a debris signature, that gray circular thing that you see spinning there. So there is indication that debris is being wafted into the atmosphere. Here's the inflow notch. Here's the mesocyclone. This is where the damage has occurred. Sun River Terrace, I suspect there's damage there. We've seen power flashes. Here's Moments. It's just to the south of you with the circulation. But what we saw on Friday was that wedge-shaped tornado. It's not just where the tornado is. It can be a football field away from it, that debris circulating and flying around the tornado. Still a strong rotation signature. And again, that Barron tornado index of a 5.1, a significant tornado on the ground. And Aisha was talking about some of the communities in its path. You know this neighborhood much better than all of the rest of our viewers because you live there. So, you take a look at this. Okay, where Hopkins Park, where am I? You have to be your own forecaster. If you're anywhere in this area, south of the Kankakee River, this guy's headed in your direction. It's not moving really fast, around 25 miles per hour, but you can certainly see the fact that there's rain coming, and this is rain wrapped, so it's very difficult to see. So you may just think, oh, there's heavy rain, or there's hail that we saw earlier. But within that, cloaked by the rain, is a circulation that is a destructive tornado that is moving off to the east around 25 miles per hour. And it's surprising, Aisha, that they went with a severe thunderstorm warning.
Especially considering how intense and strong this tornado is, and it's a tornado on the ground, so it's not radar indicated at all. I'm actually pretty surprised by that too. Yeah,
and what you were showing earlier, let's hop out, and not to neglect this. Get to your safe place, Kankakee County, approaching the state line over toward northwest Indiana, but look at the stuff.
There's a tornado warning with one of those.
Yeah, we've got a tornado here near Kewanee. And again, all of this, why is this happening? Because there's this warm front that's sitting just to our south. It does not progress, at least at this point, all the way up into the city of Chicago. But look, even on the cool side, we've got temperatures in the upper 30s along the city's shoreline here. But look at the stuff, Aisha, that's already popping up along the Wisconsin state line and moving off to the north and east. Even out in Dubuque, we've got a severe thunderstorm warning. So this whole slug of moisture is working its way not only just along the warm front, but even north of it into the more stable atmosphere. Earlier.
And that's surprising.
That is surprising. We were sitting here talking about this afternoon. Okay. Does Lake Michigan protect us?
Yeah.
Do we wind up with the cool winds off the lake? That does not seem to be the case at this point. This is a very strong weather pattern, and this stuff is continuing to move through. And here we are. We're not even at 7 o'clock in the evening. We've got a tornado on the ground in Kankakee County, and I suspect we're going to see more of this activity throughout the evening, coming from the west and working its way towards Chicago. Let's re-up, give you an idea of what we're dealing with. Tornado on the ground. You can see it here. There's Moments. There's some damage south of Moments. You get the idea that this is moving off. We've got another circulation here popping up. And look at this. They've just reduced the tornado warning. There's a wall cloud that's underneath this. If you look at the thunderstorm, you're going to see this hanging wall cloud, they call it, hanging below it. And multiple vortices are coming off that. That's why we're seeing another vortex here. Widen out a little bit, Joey, so we can look at this and see that new updated tornado warning. Now, if you're west in Kankakee, for now, you're in the clear until the next stuff gets here. But this circulation has passed you. It's south of Moments. Here's 41. We talked about that earlier. North-south corridor. Back over into Indiana. 65 lies back over here, or right here, and moving down here. So if you know someone that's traveling down 41 or 65, hold short. Wait it out. This guy is moving in your direction around 25 miles per hour, and it's had a history of producing some destructive activity. And again, Aisha, that stuff to the west is troubling. we are here for a long haul tonight.
And we mentioned this earlier, but it's really surprising to see these storms just blowing up, especially this far to the north, because as Brant mentioned, the atmosphere, especially once you get north of I-80, is pretty stable. So this is actually really surprising to see. The storms that are starting to move into parts of our area, at least our far western counties. These storms, I've been keeping an eye on these. These are severe storms with a tornado possible tag. So basically what that means is that these storms have the capability of producing a tornado. These are moving off to the north and east, already starting to move into parts of LaSalle County. We've got to watch also Lee and Ogle counties, even parts of DuPage County too. Or parts of DeKalb County too. So again, this is moving off to the north and east. We're watching those pretty closely. That tornado warning was scaled back, as you mentioned, Brant, and that's also a little surprising to me. I'm not sure if you're surprised that
I'm with
they
you.
Scaled it back that much as well.
Well, yeah, again, what you're looking at behind Aisha there, you see the signature of the rotation, what's going on. We hop over to the box I'm using here. What we suspected, Joey just telling me in my ear, a new tornado warning.
Is it for Lake?
Yeah, Lake.
Okay.
So, so what we said.
That makes sense.
Lake and Newton County.
Yeah.
So we're looking at Lake here. Here's Newton County to the south. So once again, if you're in Indiana along 41, get to your safe place. It looks like we'll see that populate here in a second when the National Weather Service office in Romeoville pops this guy up. But it's going to cross the state line. And it's one on the ground. You can see some multiple vortices being indicated there by the shear markers. And again, this is a more we talked about this earlier, more populated area in here. This isn't farmland anymore from Cedar Lake down to Schneider. A lot of housing communities there. And so once again, there's the potential for damage. Get into a safe place, strong interior room, away from windows. If the kids are outside playing, get them inside, know where your family is. We still haven't seen that, populated in our machine here of the new tornado warning, but a BTI of 5. We've been told they're going to. So once again, you have to wait for the red box to pop up. You know you're in harm's way. If you're along 41 south of Schneider, and again, anywhere in here in Lake County into the northern portion of Newton County, we wind up with more housing communities there along the state line. So caution. We wait for this thing to pop. But again, let's talk about what we've heard so far. And that's there's been damage in Schneider, Lake Village. Hey, look a little closer here. You can see some of these communities. Schneider's, some amount of resorts, Lake Village. And if you look at that, if you're watching us in other parts of Chicago, you're like, where are those places? What's going on? Why are you focusing on the south suburbs? This is where the danger lies at this point. So far in the northern suburbs, we've just seen some hail and a severe thunderstorm warning across the city of Chicago. But as we shared earlier, there are more thunderstorms that have been popping up, even far north where we thought it would be a little more stable in the atmosphere. There is a severe thunderstorm warning here, and we're waiting on the National Weather Service to coordinate and give us a new tornado warning that will cross the state line into Lake and Newton County. Okay, we have some video to share. This is what the cell looked like over Pontiac. Take a look at this, Aisha.
Oh, wow.
You can see the rotating wall cloud there. See the rotation?
And you can see the vortices too.
Yeah, this is, if you see something like this, seek shelter. Don't try to take pictures like this. You can see a little pendant hanging there where the potential is where some vortex could be hitting the ground. And then you come back from that and you look at this. We sit here on this side of the television and we're telling you, okay, this is what's going on. In the real world out there, that's what it looks like. This is one of those situations where, you've got the kids and you're in the basement with a family dog and the sky turns green. Where do you go? Okay, there it is. There's the new tornado warning from Schneider all the way just east of 41 for that damaging tornado that is on the ground. A large wedge tornado reminiscent of what the thing looked like over in Michigan on Friday. That's crossing the state line and moving over into northwest Indiana. Okay, now what do you do if you're in Schneider, in Savannah Resorts, Lake Village? get to your safe place. And we say this over and over again. Where's my safe place? Strong interior room. If you have a basement, center of the basement, what do you put in there? We talked about this earlier yesterday about having a bug out bag. You have a bag that's got water in it, it's got your prescriptions, it's got some cash, it's got insurance information, it's got a charger for your cell phone, and you're ready to go. So be prepared. If you're in any of these communities along 41, this guy is headed towards you. You see it on the left-hand side of the screen. It is a tornado on the ground. It has produced damage across Kankakee County, and it is going to cross the state line and head in your direction in Lake and Newton counties in northwest Indiana. So be prepared. And this thing has not diminished whatsoever. We've been seeing a Barron Tornado Index first popped up at a 5.2. It's still riding at about a 5, and this is the most dangerous weather that we have active at this point. And Aisha has been watching some of the stuff that's out to the west. Not to discount this, we'll pop away for a second. Aisha, that stuff that was out west of LaSalle County, that's all headed in our direction.
Yeah, it's all headed in our direction. So I want to put on a loop here. So this takes us over the last hour just to show you where this is headed. These are severe storms, by the way. You can see obviously all of the lightning associated with it. These storms, the primary threat has been hail. Hail 2-3 inches in diameter. So that's tennis ball, baseball size hail. And this is moving off to the north and east, already starting to move into LaSalle County. And we'll continue to watch these as they move off to the north and east. But there's also been a tornado possible tag with several of these storms, too. So they could produce a tornado. We were talking about the tornado warning that was actually extended. So I just want to go back to that really quickly. I'm just kind of giving you a different vantage point of the actual tornado that's on the ground. So what this shows is the wind velocity. So you have red and greens together, and that shows us the actual area of rotation. So this is continuing to move off to the east. Lake Village, you're now included in that tornado warning. And I just want to take a look at where it is headed. So it's moving eastward, we'll say about 25 or so miles per hour. So the actual tornado, so what we're tracking here is the actual area of rotation. Moving to the east, so it will move into Lake Village about 7:18, Roselawn about 7:35, and then Fair Oaks, this tornado, if it holds together, will approach you about 7:42. And again, this takes us a little bit deeper into northwest Indiana. But this is the more urgent concern, if you will, with this tornado on the ground. But I don't want to discount what we're also seeing back to the west, and some of these storms are already starting to move into some of our westernmost counties, Brant.
And Aisha, what we're dealing with here now is an active tornado warning. It's a tornado that's on the ground. You see two of those red tornado boxes. The first one occurred just to the west of Kankakee, crossed by the airport and has moved eastward. You can see it's already past Momence. If you're in Kankakee, it's past you at this point, but it's rapidly approaching 41. And there is the state line where that blue line is there, and this circulation is holding together. It's got a Barron Tornado Index of 5.3. For a while, we saw a 7.7 as this thing was really cranking up. We've seen indications of debris signature. We see the rotation continuing. It's a damaging tornado. We've got reports of damage in Kankakee County, and it's again crossing the state line, and it's working its way toward 41. And eventually, here's 65. This storm cell has no indication at this point that it is weakening. Underlying this is a severe thunderstorm warning. But again, the focus of the threat is across northwest Indiana, moving out of Kankakee County, southern Lake County, northern Newton County. We're going to reset and give you an idea of what we're dealing with here. Severe weather is moving across the south suburbs of Chicago. There is more on the way, and we have an NBA game coming up. So what we're going to do is here on NBC5 Chicago, we are going to do a double box. We're going to give you the basketball game, and we are going to give you coverage when it warrants with the severe thunderstorm activity that's moving through. So please stay with us. Here's where we are at this point at 7 o'clock in the evening. We'll continue and give you an idea of what we're looking at. Aisha pointed out those storms that are really popping up out to the west. You can see one active tornado warning and severe thunderstorm warnings. And what we were looking at in the northern suburbs, and Aisha and I were talking about this earlier, we're even seeing some thunderstorms that have popped up in those northern tier counties where we have that stability of the winds off Lake Michigan, temperatures in the 30s along the lakeshore. So there's an active pattern across the entire area, but the focus of the danger at this point is across eastern Kankakee County, moving into Lake and Newton counties in northwest Indiana. And we mentioned earlier, Aisha, the fact that there's more population across northwest Indiana. It isn't just farmland anymore. There are a lot of communities there. So seek shelter. There's the center of circulation. You can see near Lowell and Cedar Lake. Let's go down a little farther to the south if we can. And there is the inflow notch. There is the tornado that is confirmed on the ground. And that tornado is just about to cross the state line. In fact, this is history because we're delayed about a minute or so. And if you're watching us on streaming, keep in mind there's an encoding delay for everything to be chopped up into bits and bytes and digitally sent out. Sometimes that delay can be a couple of minutes. So if you're watching us on the stream, be aware that that delay is there and don't wait to go to your safe place. If you look at this and we give you one of those projected times, add a couple of minutes onto it to get to your safe place. At this point, if you're in Lake Village, you should be in your safe place. Schneider, in your safe place. Any one of these communities along 41 in northwest Indiana, this guy is crossing the state line right now, probably over the state line at this point. You can see that's right here. Here's the Indiana, Illinois state line. And again, there's the center of circulation moving very quickly toward Lake Village. Beyond that, 65 sits out here to the east. So again, a dangerous situation. We have a tornado warning that continues across not only the eastern portion of Kankakee County, but across into Lake and Newton counties in northwest Indiana. There's a quick look at some of the communities in the path. Extreme caution. This is a dangerous storm. It has a history of producing damage. Aisha?
And Lake and Porter counties were just added to that tornado watch. So we've got a tornado watch until 11 o'clock tonight, basically along and south of I-80. So that includes LaSalle County, Kankakee County. As I mentioned, Lake and Porter counties have been added to that tornado watch, and then Newton and Jasper counties have been added as well. So how much longer are we going to deal with these storms? They're going to be around for a while. So go ahead and, again, start thinking about your safe place if you're not there just yet. As we work our way towards 8, 9 o'clock this evening, look at this. We still have storms ramping up across the area. These will be likely numerous storms pushing across the region. And then as we push towards 12 o'clock, so right around midnight tonight, it looks like the storms will mainly be confined from the city south and across northwest Indiana. And then after about midnight tonight, these storms will move out of here. So we've got, again, several hours to deal with these storms. And these storms do have the potential to become strong and possibly even severe. The main threats, we're watching hail, which has been a huge threat this afternoon and this evening. We've seen tennis ball size hail, golf ball size hail, but also the threat for tornadoes is highest along and south of I-80. So that's our most immediate threat and one we'll be watching pretty closely, including the tornado warning that we do still have in effect right now for parts of Kankakee County and now starting to push into parts of Lake County as well, Brant.
And Aisha, we're getting multiple reports of damage across Kankakee County and northwest Indiana. Still an active tornado warning, and you see that red flashing box. And what we're seeing, sometimes with the tornadic activity, you'll see that vortex lift up and then touch down. We're getting multiple reports of it doing that sort of activity. So again, look at the time. It's after sunset, even with daylight savings time. This is likely rain wrapped at this point. Very difficult to see and discern what's going on. Some heavy rainfall. Aisha talked about the hail. We've had gigantic hail across the area as the freezing level is around 11,000 feet. And we're looking at the tops of these storms up to 50,000 feet. So you see we've got a distance there for those hailstones to accrete moisture as they go up and down and become so heavy that they fall. Wow.
Look at that.
Wow. Just take a second and look at this. I've lost, how many are there out there? How many severe thunderstorm warnings are we looking at? It's unbelievable. Look at this activity. And Aisha.
And for this time of the year,
yeah.
This is really odd, by the way.
And the
Very
fact
rare.
that we thought that this would be confined south. Storm Prediction Center today put us in a more advanced severe outlook, but look what's happening all the way to the north too. So if you thought you were completely out of the woods in the northern tier counties, you might not see tornadic activity, but certainly severe thunderstorm activity. This is the stuff that's out there to the south and west that's still coming toward us. Look at LaSalle County. Look at all this stuff here. Here's DeKalb County. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning moving into DeKalb County. Here's I-88 here along Interstate 80. If you know someone that's a trucker, you know someone that's traveling Interstate 80, hold short. Don't even attempt. Look how long, if you're on I-80, look what you have to chew through just to get out to the Quad Cities. Not a good idea to travel. Stay out of that. Tornado watch to the south, severe thunderstorm watch to the north, and every one of those blue boxes is a severe thunderstorm warning, and some of those, as Aisha pointed out, have the potential to have a tornado. They're tornado possible. Let's focus once again on what's happening in northwest Indiana. This is where the danger is. This is the peak of the danger at this point. That's where we have an active tornado warning. There's the center of the vortex. It's on top of the state line. It is crossing. It is a little bit of history, because what we're looking at here takes a minute or so to process and send it out to you. And then there's the encoding delay if you're watching online. But it's crossed the state line. There's Schneider. There's 41. And this guy is crossing 41. It's a severe thunderstorm warning beyond that. The National Weather Service first issued a severe thunderstorm warning, and then we were watching that, and Aisha and I were talking about, is this thing going to hang together? And indeed, they issued the tornado warning that continues as this moves. And again, let's talk about some of the communities right along 41. Schneider, down to Lake Village. You're right in the path of this thing. So get to your safe place. We say it over and over again. Strong interior room away from windows. If you're fortunate enough to have a basement, get to the center of the basement, hunker down, use this thing, use your smartphone, get the NBC Chicago app, get Live Doppler 5 right on your smartphone, and we'll be here to keep you safe. And also, we stream on the app. So if you lose power, we've had some reports in Kankakee County of power flashes. All right, JC Navarrete is in Kankakee. JC, what are you seeing there, sir?
Yeah, hey there, Brant. Go ahead and, catch your breath, get some water. I know you've been tracking all of this. Take a look at this. This is some of the hail that we've been seeing, and the rain, of course, coming down as well. Reed, if you'll go ahead and show them just the size of some of the hail that we're seeing down here near Kankakee. The water itself, thankfully, is beginning to recede, and I'm going to be cautious here as I get towards the street, but you can see there's still right now about ankle high water. When we got here about 20 minutes ago, you can see where it was reaching right around my knee. Reed, if you'll go ahead and zoom in across the street, you'll see folks out there tending to their vehicles. That's because they're dealing with a lot of broken glass, unfortunately. That black sedan in the parking lot has its rear window smashed in, and we're also seeing folks across the parking lot as well assessing some damage. We were talking to a family that also was dealing with broken glass across the street. You'll hear from them later on tonight, but kind of a sad story there. They had just bought a car, and now they believe that it's totaled. We have some video we want to show you as well along Kankakee, just giving you an idea of how much hail was coming down here. Now, of course, we were dealing with traffic on the drive down here, and Reese Sealer, my photographer I'm working with here today, and we were talking. It's like, it doesn't really seem like anything's going on. It seems pretty calm. And then out of nowhere, like the flip of a switch, it all started coming down as one. So I'm going to send things back to you guys in the studio. We are heading towards the Kankakee Airport, where there is a lot of damage being reported. We'll see you back here at 10 o'clock.
And JC, if you can check over toward Aroma Park, we had some unconfirmed reports that there were roofs off houses and structural damage there. If you can check that for us, too.
We'll check it out.
Okay, we've got new information. The tornado, Aisha, that tornado warning that we were questioning why it was going to stop at the state line. It didn't stop at the state line. It's still been up and down and touching the ground. It's been extended now. Take a look at this. Let's widen it out a little bit, Joey, so we can get a better perspective here. Look at that. That goes all the way. There's Couts. There's the Kankakee River. This thing is tracking just south of the Kankakee River and moving off to the east. So new tornado warning. It's crossing US 41. It's headed toward 65. Here's 65. So if you're headed on 65 or certainly 41, you don't want to be on 41 at this point. Hold short north or south. This guy is right on top of you at this point. And we're getting in a little more sparsely populated area. Yeah, here's Roseland, Indiana, Shelby, Thayer, Lake Village. It's on you at this point. And again, go to your safe place. Strong interior room away from windows. That's our mantra tonight. We say that over and over again. But get to your safe place. This is a dangerous situation. It's dark. There's heavy rainfall. As JC pointed out, you can see some of the hail being produced by this thunderstorm and these thunderstorms. And we've had electrical safety. Let's talk about that a little bit. Multiple power lines down across northwest Indiana and in Kankakee County. In your service area, if you're in northwest Indiana, it's IPSCO. You can talk to them. And Illinois side, it's ComEd. Use their numbers. Do not try to cross a power line. JC was showing you some of that flooding there when he had the boots in the water. We really don't have that many underpasses and that sort of thing out here. But if you see standing water, don't drive through it. You have no idea how deep it is. And certainly watch out for electrical situations. If you have a power line down, do not try to cross it. Don't assume that the rubber in your tires will protect you. That's not the case. All right, let's look at rotation detector. What are we seeing here? Still a pretty strong signature. There's something cooking here, rotating in this vortex. And keep in mind, we've had some reports that not only has it touched down as a big wedge tornado, but the vortex may have lifted up, and it may be coming down. But if you're in Roseland, Indiana, get to your safe place at this Roseland right here. This guy's moving east at around 25 miles per hour. And again, a new tornado warning that continues all the way east of I-65. Here's 65 right here. You do not want to be in the path of this dangerous storm that is popping up and down on the ground. So the vortex hasn't just stayed on the ground, so it can be deceptive. So if you know along 65, Fair Oaks Farms is there. It looks like it's going to go just north of that. Here's Pembroke, and you get the idea where this is, Deer Park. And again, we're across northwest Indiana, and we're here. Even though this isn't close to downtown Chicago, this is our viewing area, and we're here to keep you safe. And again, that circulation, that tornado warning is moving across northwest Indiana at this point. And we've been seeing those Barron Tornado Index numbers around a 5. So a very dangerous situation continues as this works off to the east. Aisha, we've got this danger, but man, that stuff out to the west is looking even more scary at this point. So it's really starting to light up along this whole warm front.
It really is. And I just want to really quickly track the actual area of rotation. So track that tornado that's still on the ground. Again, as Brant mentioned, it's moving to the east about 25 miles per hour or so. So Roseland, it'll get to you just about 7:30. Walker just before 8 o'clock. So you should be in your safe place by that point. Now, Brant mentioned we've got more stuff firing up back to the west. So far this afternoon, a lot of the storms have been very isolated. So most of us have not really been dealing with too much. But notice here on Live Doppler 5, we've got this cluster of storms that's really just blown up down to our south. And this is going to continue to move to the north and east. And so the storms will become more numerous as we go over the next several hours. And these are severe storms too, already starting to push into LaSalle County, DeKalb County, even starting to move into Lee and Ogle counties as well. And obviously, we're still keeping an eye on that tornado warning with that storm that's moving across northwest Indiana. I want to show you the severe thunderstorm warnings that we have across the area. And what this does is it automatically kind of populates the storms. But all of these blue boxes, I'm going to zoom out here. All of these blue boxes, these are severe thunderstorm warnings. Obviously, we've got tornado possible with the storm moving through northwest Indiana. But look at the line of severe thunderstorm boxes that we've got back to the west and even across some of our westernmost counties. These will likely have tornado possible with them. At least a few of these boxes I've been seeing tornado possible popping up. So even if you are north of I-80, I would start to think about your safe place. Also keep in mind, these storms have been producing very, very large hail. I just want to show you the storm reports here. Look at all of these hail icons. I mean, again, these storms have been producing 3-4 inch diameter, and as far as the hail goes, look at the storm that moved over Chicago. Several hail reports with that storm, even the one that produced tornadoes. So obviously we have tornado reports with that storm that's moving now over northwest Indiana, but we've got numerous hail reports. And again, with this cluster of storms that's starting to move into parts of Lee County, also parts of DeKalb County, also some hail reports being reported with that cluster of storms as well. But Brant, as for right now, we're really focusing on this tornado warning that's across northwest Indiana.
And that's where the danger lies, Aisha. We're looking here at the rotation detector. It's not quite as vivid as it was before, but certainly a dangerous storm. Rosalon, right here, I-65. This is going to cross I-65 if you know someone that's traveling. 65 from down near Lafayette up to Maryville. Hold short. Stay off 65 at this point because this guy in the next 20 minutes or so is going to cross and move eastward. And we're starting to get into a little more agricultural area as we leave Newton and head over toward Jasper counties. And this is all riding just south of the Kankakee River. And again, there's where we stand at this point. It has crossed 41 at this point. It has moved, the center of circulation has moved out of the state of Illinois, is in Indiana. But again, you see that gray circular indicator. That's saying there is debris being lofted into the atmosphere. That's saying that there is debris on the ground being lofted northward or vertically. 5.3 on the Barron Tornado Index. It's been holding fairly steady in that 5 range for a while. It popped up to a 7.7. That makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up at this point. A dangerous situation. This is showing debris detector here. Keep in mind the prevailing winds are pushing off to the east, and some of that debris is being lofted into the atmosphere by a very dangerous tornado that's on the ground. Another interesting, our producer Joey was mentioning, even if you're not in the direct path, there's stuff up here that could be falling out of the cloud. Look at this. This is interesting, Aisha. Look how we're starting to see multiple inflow notches here. I don't like what I'm seeing here. I don't like seeing that little divot there. Little rotation there. Here's another little divot here. Are we seeing some rotation under that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if that pops up here. Give me the rotation detector again. Is there something in here?
So it looks like this storm is producing a couple of areas of rotation at this point.
Yeah, this is not just a single vortex. And the other thing we're looking at too, we're getting farther and farther away from the radars. So radar's line of sight, the Earth is curved, so we're firing out at half a degree above the horizon. And as we get farther and farther away, we're looking farther and farther up into the clouds. The radar beam at this point is around 4,600, 5,000 feet in the atmosphere. But we are seeing these little inflow notches along here. So let's watch that very carefully as this continues to move toward I-65. If you're in Kankakee County at this point, it looks like the severe threat from this tornado has weakened. And again, you saw from J.C. Navarate's report earlier that he was in Kankakee, but it doesn't stay that way for long. Look at this stuff. Earlier, we remarked about how incredible the number of blue boxes that indicate severe thunderstorms warnings were, Aisha, and it has just lit up to the west of us. And we had anticipated that it might be like this. We were sitting around this afternoon preparing ourselves for this coverage. You believe the models to a point, but that high-resolution rapid refresh model we shared last night at 10 o'clock has been spot on. So this is what we're dealing with at this point. All those blue boxes, severe thunderstorm warnings. And again, we've had a history of producing large hail. And be cautious anywhere in here. Some of these have the caveat of tornado possible. We'll stay on the air and keep you safe here, as this isn't the end of it. Once this tornado warning expires and shifts eastward, our focus will turn to all the activity that's to the west, and there's the potential some of those could be a repeat performance. Aisha, there's again, look at the rotation detector here. So this is far from over. So this is just coming up on Roselawn. Here's Roselawn right here, Thayer, Forest City. It looks like at this point it's probably crossing 65 right here. And moving on to more agricultural parts of northwest Indiana, moving out of Newton County, more over toward Jasper County, but still a dangerous situation. We'll wait with it crossing 65. And again, seek shelter now. Get to a safe place across northwest Indiana. Aisha?
Yeah, and speaking of JC, he mentioned the hail damage. Someone they just got their new car, and the hail already damaged their car. And that's a really good point, because if you have your vehicle parked outside, I would go ahead and bring it in if you can, if you have the capability to do so, because these storms all afternoon have been producing tennis ball size hail, golf ball size hail, and you can see all of the storms that are headed our way. So we were dealing with more isolated storms. Oh, there we go.
Look at that.
Kankakee County. I mean, look at that hail.
And look at the way they're shaped. If we can hold this picture for just a second, we got the radar on the screen. You can see that at the bottom there, so we're not denying anything there. If we go back to that hail picture, it looked almost like a cauliflower head. Where it had multiple little areas of moisture. So what's happening here? Why are we getting this large hail? We have a very low freezing level, around 11,000 feet, and the tops of these storms producing large hail were up to 50,000 feet. So you see that distance of below freezing temperatures in the updraft. So what happens? That hail gets lifted by an updraft. There are super cooled water droplets. Literally, water can be liquid below freezing in a thunderstorm. And they accrete. They make it like an onion, and they're layers. If you cut one of those hailstones apart, that looks like an onion. So they go up and down and up and down until finally they're so heavy that gravity takes hold and they fall. And we see some of those are softball-sized or tennis ball-sized hail. All right, where do we stand? Let's re-up and give you an idea what we're dealing with. BTI of 4.6, down just a hair. But this has crossed the state line. There's Schneider. It's over 41. It's past 41 at this point. Next is I-65, and this thing is moving off to the east. I don't believe the 54 miles per hour. It's been historically moving around 20, 25 miles per hour. But you get the idea that this center of circulation, a tornado on the ground, is moving across northwest Indiana into a more agricultural area once you get past 65. Look at these, Aisha, you can see these multiple areas of rotation that it's seeing. And we've heard some reports that rather than being the Dorothy and Toto single vortex, these are those wedge-shaped tornadoes that can have little fingers, multiple vortices that come out of them. And something that we learned with the EF3 that was over in Michigan last Friday is you could see the rotation outside the central vortex. This is a rotating wall cloud, Aisha, and you can, if you see this, this is where you get to your safe place. Yeah. You don't mess around with this. And you can see that little pendant hanging down there on the left-hand side of the screen. There's a potential that might be something that touches down, but certainly when you start to see, something like this is be your own forecaster, get to a safe place.
Yeah, no one needs to tell you.
No, not at all. That's where the tornado warning continues. Now, one of the other bizarre things we're dealing with is the temperature contrast. For that part of the story, Aisha, this is dramatic stuff.
We obviously have a tornado on the ground, right, across northwest Indiana. But it's this boundary that we've been watching, and which is why the Storm Prediction Center and even us as meteorologists, it just made sense, right, that we would have the stronger storms along and south of I-80, because look at this temperature contrast. It's 68 right now in Kankakee, but we've got 30s and 40s to our north and right along Lake Michigan. But what is very surprising to me is that the fact that strong storms are forming when temperatures are in the 30s. I've never seen that, honestly. Brant,
keep in mind what's happening, though. The water temperature in Lake Michigan is the shoreline in the middle 30s.
Mid-30s?
Mid-30s. And this is moisture streaming in aloft overhead. So it's getting undercut by that wind off Lake Michigan. And we're seeing a lot of shear winds in different directions, Aisha. So we have a northeast component off Lake Michigan, a northeast to east component, and a southerly component coming in aloft. So you can see where that difference, that shear is taking place. Here's where we are at this point. We still have an active tornado warning across Newton counties, Newton and Jasper counties, both south of the Kankakee River. Rotation is crossing I-65 at this point. So if you know someone that's traveling 65, not the time to go north or south, anywhere from down near Lafayette all the way up to Maryville. It looks like this is going to keep moving over toward DeMont. And you can see a Deer Park. And again, we're getting into a more sparsely populated area. In fact, you can see we have an Earth map behind this, and you see that sort of a checkerboard pattern indicating it's more agricultural fields that are across that area, but still in our viewing area, and still some communities watching us here on NBC5. That's why we're continuing the coverage here. And we're not certain yet what's happening to the west. There's a high probability that we could see another tornado warning popping up here during the evening. You know? All right, and Joy, our producer, was just looking at the traffic on 65, Aisha. You can see the yellows and reds where people are slowing down and not crossing through where this is. So if you know someone who's traveling 65, tell them please hold short around Maryville, Lafayette, wait it out there, and stay safe. We've got an NBA game underway, and what we're going to do is continue our coverage and do a double box here so we can give you an idea of what's going on, and also share the basketball game. We have a tornado warning continuing across northwest Indiana into Newton County, moving into more sparsely populated areas, just about to cross I-65. We have reports of damage in Kankakee County earlier in the path of this. J.C. Navarrete is on the ground there. He reported earlier some large hail. He is now near going to Aroma Park and some of the other communities that have been affected there with tornado damage. So that's the situation where we stand at this point, and with our coverage here on NBC5. Brant Miller along with Aisha. We've got Alicia and Aisha. You know, I knew someday I would mess that up, and this is that moment, Aisha. But here's where we stand at this point. We've got an active tornado warning on the ground crossing Newton County, moving eastward toward Jasper County. This is troubling. All of those blue boxes, severe thunderstorm warnings at this point, and some of these have the potential of producing another tornado, and this activity is not letting up. This is going to continue through the evening hours, and you think you're spared in the northern suburbs? Not so fast. Look right along the Wisconsin state line. More thunderstorms are populating there, and even severe thunderstorms out toward Joe Daviess County and out toward Dubuque, and all of that stuff is working its way eastward. So, Aisha, if you would you go through the warnings for us? It's like a bad game show we're on here.
I know, we're just trying to keep track at this point. So outside of the tornado, hail over 2 inches as well. And then as we move a little bit farther to the south, we've got LaSalle County under a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:30, and that's also for hail over 2 inches. So we'll have to watch that really closely. I mean, these storms all afternoon and evening really have been producing some just incredible images of hail, tennis ball size, baseball size hail. And then let's see what else we have. So as we zoom out the view, so those are the only severe thunderstorm warnings for our viewing area for right now, but I just wanted to kind of get you updated on what's going on outside of the tornado warning that we have. And obviously, we do have severe thunderstorm warnings across parts of northwest Indiana too. This is for Lake and Newton counties. I mean, that cluster of storms that produced the tornado warning, look at this, hail size 3 inches. So we already saw through JC's report, large hail being reported with that storm that produced the tornado too. And then we also have this severe thunderstorm warning for Newton and Jasper counties, also 3-inch hail, 3-inch diameter hail, and that threat for tornado possible, which we saw the tornado actually on the ground. So there is proof that there was a legit tornado from that particular cluster of storms, Brant.
And Joy in my ear is telling me, is it Lowell, Joy, that was hit? Lake Township's fire station has been hit, and Lowell has been dispatched to cover for them. that gives you an idea of some of the severity. And again, JC Navarrete is on the ground. And if you're just tuning in for the basketball game, you're seeing us up in the top left corner and the game off down to the right. And we're bringing the basketball game to you. You can see what's going on there. And we'll continue our coverage here. Right underneath the banner, that's where Lowell, Indiana is, up in here. Here's Lowell, Indiana. So what we're looking at is there was damage there. And so Lowell has come south towards Schneider. There's a damage here. And again, I mentioned JC Navarrete is on the ground. In Kankakee County, we have reporters that are covering that. And certainly at 10 o'clock tonight on the NBC5 News, we'll bring you information. And by the way, if it's safe, don't go out and be Mr. Adventure. But if it's safe and you see some of the damage, send a picture to us. You can send it to me, brant.miller@nbc.com. And we'll affect that and put that on the air during the 10 o'clock news again. brant.miller@nbc.com if it's safe. And again, we've got power lines down. We've had multiple reports across Kankakee County of multiple power flashes indicating that power lines are down. This is moving toward DeMont, Indiana. There's 231 there. And again, we're into a more sparsely populated area. Still a danger. This is a tornado that is on the ground. And we'll continue to monitor this as it moves east and eventually out of our immediate viewing area. There's I-65, Aisha, and it is right on I-65. And the rotation, we're not seeing some of that strong rotation. We're not seeing that, but keep in mind, we talked about this earlier, as this gets farther and farther away from the radar sites, what we're using here is not only live Doppler 5, but we take some of the rotation information from NEXRAD, the National Weather Service antenna in Romeoville, and they're looking up at half a degree above we're at half a degree above the horizon, and they rotate up and down and look for rotation, and they're getting farther and farther away. The storm is farther away, so we're looking up. The beam is around 5,000 feet at this point, so we're not seeing that circulation right down at the surface. So that becomes problematic as these storms get farther and farther from the radar sites. But certainly a dangerous situation if you're in DeMont. Keep in mind this is moving towards your Hershey and Stoutburg and on east. Yeah. And, we haven't talked about this as much as we probably should have, Aisha, but the flooding. We saw JC walking around in his boots in Kankakee County, but there is a potential for significant flooding, not only now, but coming up.
Yeah, because we have this entire cluster of storms that still has to make its way through the area. So I just want to put on a loop for you just to show you over the past hour or so the direction that these storms are moving, generally off to the north and east. And these storms producing rainfall rates of about 1 to 2 inches per hour. So because of that, there is a flood watch in effect until late tonight. This is for everybody here in green under that flood watch, which does include Cook County and even parts of Will County as well. So just be careful on the roads. If you don't have to travel tonight, I would certainly advise just staying home if you don't have to go out. But these storms have been producing, obviously, hail has been the biggest story with these storms. But as we go through the rest of the evening, hail, but also flash flooding will become a concern as well with that flash flood watch in effect through later on tonight, too. Brant, I was actually just checking before you came over to me. I was just looking at the tornado that's in northwest Indiana because we still have that tornado warning that's in effect. And it looks like it continues to move off to the east, and it's not slowing down either. I was just looking at the National Weather Service chat.
Yeah. And what we wind up there with, Aisha, it's again, that beam is getting higher and higher in the atmosphere. This is going to be difficult to really determine what's going on at the surface. We'll have to rely on surface reports out of northwest Indiana. You mentioned the flooding information. Let's talk a little bit about the Water Reclamation District. Our sewer people in Chicago have asked you not to wash dishes, not to run the dishwasher, to limit toilet flushes, that sort of stuff, to keep any wastewater out of the system because there's a potential for more rain moving in and flooding. We saw what historically has happened in Cicero and some of the communities that are, they also have combined sewer systems too, where you have runoff gets in as well as sanitary sewer. So if you can limit the use of water at this point, that'll help us. Aroma Park now, we're getting reports of people trapped in their basement. JC is headed in that direction now. We'll get a live report from him. But Aroma Park was one of the places in Kankakee County that was hit by this tornado. We had earlier reports of significant damage there. And again, JC is headed to Aroma Park for the potential for some people trapped in their basement. And again, if you're going to be in a destructive tornado, the basement is the safe place. And we'll find out from JC when he gets there what the actual situation is. Danger continues across northwest Indiana, right on I-65. This guy is right on top of 65 at this point. Any vehicles on 65, do not attempt to drive down there. Wait half an hour. It's all it's going to take to get this stuff out of here. Look at the center of circulation, sitting right on 65. So this is south of Maryville. And if you're down toward Lafayette, just hold short. If you know someone that's traveling 65, say, hey, wait half an hour or so. Let this stuff cross and move off to the east. There's DeMont in the path. And again, you can see from this checkerboard pattern here, you can see that checkerboard pattern. That's saying this is agricultural. We're seeing not a lot of houses here. We're seeing a lot of farm fields. And again, okay, and we're hearing now in my ear from Joey, our producer, that destructive damage in Aroma Park. Okay, Alicia was just sent some video and we'll effect to get that out here. But Aroma Park, we've got significant damage there. We talked about that earlier when we were with the continuous coverage across Kankakee County. But JC Navarrete is going to look for someone, a family that may be trapped in their basement. Again, the reason we do this is to keep you safe. And when we say, hey, get to your safe place, get to your safe place. And if you haven't figured out exactly where that is, we talk about it over and over again. That's the center of the basement, lower floor, away from windows. And Aisha, we talked about this earlier. I was watching some of the coverage of the tornado last Friday in Michigan. And as that big wedge, and that's what this is one of those big wedge tornadoes, as that thing was moving along the lake there in Union City, you could see out ahead of it, it wasn't just the tornado. A good football field on either side of it, there was debris just flying around that. 150 mile per hour winds, EF3. So that kind of destruction, this is the kind of stuff you pull over by the side of the road and go, hey, look at that.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we have the same situation
here. Yeah. Because earlier the National Weather Service was saying what we were looking at, EF2s, 3s?
They mentioned EF2, EF3.
Yeah, so you're looking at the potential maybe of 150 mile per hour, and we can't even comprehend what 150 mile per hour wind is. Okay, so now I'm hearing significant damage to multiple structures in Kankakee County. We'll bring you coverage as we get our reporter, JC Navarrete, there. We still have some rotation being indicated along I-65 over toward 231 in northwest Indiana. So this thing is rapidly, over here is the state line, black line right there. So this stuff is cooking, moving off to the east, probably 25, 30 miles per hour. And again, you can see the... repeat it again for me, Joey. We're hearing a report of a major hazardous material incident at the Byron Nuke. Not radioactivity. What is it? Hydrazine gas being released at the Byron Nuke. That's what we're hearing. Where are you hearing this report from? This is from the National Weather Service chat. Aisha, if you can take a look at that and confirm that with us too. So we don't know if this is weather related, but again, we'll bring you the information here. A very active news night in Chicago. Okay, let's give you an idea, an overview of what's going on here. We're starting to see that tornado on the ground in a more of agricultural area, not to discount that, but seek your safe place if you're east of I-65, Newton, moving over toward Jasper County. Here's what we're dealing with, city of Chicago. Nothing here yet. Earlier, we had some large hail downtown. That cell has moved off into Lake Michigan. Look at the stuff that's out toward Aurora and Plano. Earlier today, we had large diameter hail there. That blue box is a severe thunderstorm watch. That continues as we roll through the evening hours. These are severe thunderstorm warnings. And again, you can see some of the timing here. Know your safe place if you're in the western suburbs at this point. One of the interesting things, Aisha, is if you get out northwest along I-90, there are some places there that have a really high water table. So there are no basements.
Yeah.
So what do? You get to an interior room and closet, yeah. You know, and you mentioned earlier, as goofy as it sounds, put on your bicycle helmet.
Yep, football helmet, bicycle helmet. If you have a really thick pillow or maybe a thick blanket, certainly find that, take it in there with you. If the power goes out, don't forget to download our app so that you can watch this coverage right along with us. I do want to just mention really quickly, this is not our viewing area, but I was just kind of looking at some of the other storms just to our west. There is a tornado warning for Marshall and Stark counties. Again, this is just outside of our viewing area. But the storm is moving to the east, so it is possible that it could start to move towards LaSalle County. So I just want to give you a heads up on that. I'm going to zoom in a little bit closer to the storm that is now tornado warned, because you can see it here. This is the storm that has the tornado warning on it right now, and then this is LaSalle County. So we're going to watch this storm pretty closely as it continues to move off to the east. Hopefully that tornado warning expires before it gets to LaSalle County, but this is going to be the trend as we go over the next several hours. These storms are strong, even severe, and many of them have had tornado possible tags with them, which basically means that these storms can produce tornadoes. So I just want to show you a wider view of what we're dealing with here, because this afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock, we had a couple of isolated storms, mainly down to the south. And now these storms have really blown up. So we've got this cluster of severe storms that's now pushing through parts of DeKalb County. It's pushing through central and northern LaSalle County. And this is all moving off to the east. We even have strong storms, although not severe, starting to cross the state line as well. So again, we're going to watch these closely as we work our way over the next several hours. But again, as I mentioned, we've got that tornado warning just outside of our viewing area for Marshall and Stark. But that storm is moving off to the east, so we'll have to watch it as it moves closer to LaSalle County, Brant.
And Aisha, we'll shift our focus. We know what's going on in northwest Indiana. That tornado warning has been extended farther to the east. But again, we're in a more agricultural area. Let's focus more on our western suburbs. This has the potential to be not only dangerous from flash flooding, large hail, but the potential, as Aisha mentioned, that we could pop a tornado in here. Severe thunderstorm warning, Batavia, along the Fox River, all the way up the Fox. There's Elgin. Not much going on there, but when you get down toward Batavia and farther south toward Aurora, those thunderstorms are on you at this point, producing some very heavy rainfall. Hail, could be some small hail, and we're looking at the vertical development here. That's what that little blue line is. Tops on these storms appear to be in that 30,000 foot range, but keep in mind we've got a really low freezing level, so the potential for some large hail exists. That moves through the general motion, Gesundheit, Stefan. That moves off to the north and east toward Chicago. Underlying all of this, that blue box is a severe thunderstorm watch, meaning conditions are favorable for severe thunderstorms. And some of these, as Aisha pointed out, have that caveat, tornado possible. Out south and west, we did have an active tornado warning, or do have inside the blue boxes. But when you start to see all of this activity like this and the frequent lightning, this is the time to go to your safe place. This is not the time to be out, not the night to walk the dog. If you're in the western suburbs, make preparations now to hunker down in your safe place. And when you do, take your smartphone with you. Put NBC's app on your smartphone. You can see the same radar image on your phone. We send the warnings, and if you lose power, we stream what Aisha and I are sharing here live on our app, and you can see and keep your family safe. Because this is one of those situations, you get down in the basement, you need some connection with the outside world to see what's going on, and we're certainly here to help you do that. In Aurora, thunderstorms are on you. You go out to the south and west toward the Sandwich, out in Oswego. And if you've been in this part of Chicago, there are housing communities out here. It used to be farm fields and turf farms up 59, not anymore. This is a more densely populated area heading out to the south and west, and you see these active severe thunderstorm warnings and frequent lightning. Sometimes, Aisha, I don't think we talk about lightning safety enough. There is no safe place outside where there's lightning. Get indoors. Where do you go? Get in the car, roll up the windows. Some people think, the rubber on the tires protects you. No, that's not the case. You're like a bird on a power line. You're part of the circuit. So if lightning strikes anywhere nearby you, it will go through the shell of the car and jump to the ground. Convertible, all bets are off there. But again, safe place, get inside a building, get away from metal, and wait the storm out. And sometimes it may be half an hour, 45 minutes after a storm passes to be safe to go outside. So this is the night, western suburbs, anywhere in our viewing area, keep the dog inside. Not the night to go out with the lightning. And severe potential continues into the evening. We haven't talked enough, I think, about, why? Why is this happening? What are we, the 10th of March, and we've got stuff like this going on? We have a huge contrast in the atmosphere. Look at these temperatures. This is remarkable stuff. 39 at O'Hare. There's fog in the northern suburbs. And we still have some thunderstorms riding above those. And Aisha and I were talking about this earlier. That's a surface wind off Lake Michigan. Aloft, the winds are coming out of the south and west. And you can see some convergence. You can see these vectors piling up here right along where all those thunderstorms are firing. What's happening is the air is converging, can't go into the ground, has to go up. And we're seeing those thunderstorms develop along a warm front that is just parked here. Earlier, we thought, would the warm front come north and bring all that activity towards Chicago? It looks like it's trying to do that, Aisha, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like it's just kind of
a little bit,
very slowly inching its way northward? The tornado watch, look at this. This is extended over into Michigan now, so east of us. So again, a lot of activity continues this evening. Get to your safe place. You know where it is. Strong interior room, away from windows, center of the basement, and stay with us. And we've got the NBA game continuing and the split screen coverage here on NBC5. That one tornado warning still is continuing out to our south and west on the other side of 39. Aisha?
All right, so how much longer are we going to deal with these storms? I know most of you are like, could it be over already? So let's talk about the timing here. All right, so on Stormcast, this is 8 o'clock. Now, earlier this afternoon, the storms that were developing were pretty isolated, right? We had a couple out there, and that was about it. But these storms have really blown up. And as we go over the next couple of hours, 8, 9 o'clock, we're going to continue with these numerous thunderstorms. Right around midnight tonight, we've got storms still from the city across our south and southwest suburbs, even across parts of northwest Indiana, Porter County, LaPorte County. And then as we work our way to after midnight towards, say, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, then we're pretty much done with the storms by that point, but we'll still have some rain around. So again, we'll have the storms around for the next several hours, so we're not going to be done with these anytime soon. We do have that tornado watch in effect until 11 o'clock tonight. The National Weather Service did expand this watch to include Lake and Porter counties, and as Brant mentioned, even into parts of southwest Michigan now, we've got that tornado watch. So we'll continue to watch these storms. They have been producing, at least the storms farther to the south, have been producing tornado warnings where the environment is a little bit more unstable. And actually, let me show you that. Brant just mentioned the temperatures. When we talk about instability, we need instability to really get these storms going for the most part. Look at the temperature, 68. You said we have what video? Oh, we have a Roma Park video. Okay.
Oh, okay. Let's see what that is.
Let's see what that.
Oh,
look at that.
Oh.
Wow. And that was
that's a wedge.
Goodness.
Look at that. Can we go? We'll look at that. There's some of the damage. Let's go back to that vortex again if we can, and give you an idea of that video. There. Okay. Look at that. Look at the debris. Look at the debris flying around the outside edge of it, and that's across a farm field. Wow. And this is some of the damage. Is this a Roma Park?
Terrifying.
Tom, thank you for sending that. Oh man, look at that. That is complete devastation of that home. And now it's nighttime. That was earlier. You can't see this thing coming. Okay. All right, so there's the confirmation of the reason that we're on the air here. Let's re-up and give you an idea what's going on. Still tornadic activity across northwest Indiana. This is, there's Couts. You know, this is a dangerous storm. Continues east into a more sparsely populated area. That's the tornado warning. That continues at this point. That's across Newton and Jasper counties. Our concern now, not just that, but what's cooking out in the western suburbs. We're getting into a more densely populated area, and look at what's lining up to head in our direction. And Aisha and I were talking about this earlier. The thoughts were that we wouldn't see thunderstorm activity progressing up to the Wisconsin state line. It looked like, it's going to be a little more stable there. So much for that. Look at everything that's popping up across the state line up into Kenosha. These blue boxes indicate severe thunderstorm warnings. There's Wheaton. We've had a history of these things producing some small hail, large hail in some places, low freezing level, vigorous vertical development. Those hailstones go up and down, and we have seen some of those that are up to tennis ball size, maybe 3 to 4 inch hail. And we're starting to get in, Aisha, I think, into more of a flash flooding signature. What we were looking at earlier with the thunderstorms that produced the tornado warning across the South counties, across Kankakee County, it was one discrete cell that went to another discrete cell. And now look how this is congealing into a solid line.
Clusters.
It's a cluster. Now, what we have to watch out, when the line congeals like that, and no longer do we have discrete supercells that can grab fresh air and wrap into them, what we start to look for is what's called a QLCS tornado, a quasi-linear tornado, which we've had before, a convective system, if you're taking notes on QLCS. You look for these little inflow notches, these little divots here, and this stuff is extremely hard to predict. Very capricious stuff. Sometimes you'll see the signature on radar, sometimes you don't. It's difficult. So keep your guard up. Any of these storms, and you're seeing some of this rotation here. Look out here north of Ottawa and Kankakee County. You can see something going on there. So be your own forecaster. If you are underneath one of these strong thunderstorms, you're seeing heavy rainfall, frequent lightning, maybe some small hail, but there's the potential anywhere those little divots are in that line where you could see a QLCS tornado spinning up. And again, very short-lived, not a big, long track through there. But again, keep your guard up. In the western suburbs, this stuff is still coming toward us. Aisha?
Yeah, I just want to show you the model again because, you mentioned we're starting to see these storms become more so clusters, right? Like a line of storms. And these storms are moving over the same areas, and they will be moving over the same areas. That's what we call training. So it's almost like trains on the track, right? They're moving over the same areas. So let me show you Stormcast here as we go over the next couple of hours, because we're going to continue to deal with these storms. This is 10 o'clock tonight. Notice we still have this cluster of storms from the city down to the southwest suburbs, even farther to the north into Wisconsin. We've got some of these storms continuing. And then as we work our way towards, say, midnight tonight, so this is right around 11 o'clock, look at this. We're still dealing with storms in the general same area that we were 8, 9 o'clock. And that's what I mean. And that's why we have that flood watching effect, too, because these storms will be producing rainfall rates of about 1 to 2 inches per hour, and that is going to cause flash flood concerns. So let me show you the timing here as we push forward. So this is right around midnight. As we work our way after midnight, closer to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, the storms will start to move out by that point, and then we'll be left with primarily just rain. So we're going to be dealing with these storms for the next several hours. And as I mentioned, we get some of those storms over the same areas. We are going to start to deal with some flash flooding concerns. So that's the other sort of component of these storms that we'll have to watch for this evening, Brand.
And then one of the things we learned too, we've seen some situations of flooding, urban flooding too. Historically, what's happened in Cicero, if you have a basement that you have stuff in that is family heirlooms, pictures, this is the time, if you're down there hiding out, protecting yourself, pick that stuff up off the floor if you're prone to flooding. Prop it up on something. If you get a backup from the sewer or you get groundwater coming in, don't let your valuable stuff in the basement be destroyed by the potential for flooding as we move through the next several hours. And again, we mentioned this, the Water Reclamation District is advising everyone to try to limit the amount of wastewater that you put into their system to prepare for the potential runoff of these storms that are going to move through Chicago. And as Aisha pointed out, it's not just one storm. It's just a train of these things sitting over the same ground, and we're going to see continued potential for flooding. All right, severe thunderstorm warnings to the west, still active tornado warnings. Getting south and east of our immediate viewing area, we're still giving you an idea they're here, but our focus now is shifting less from the agricultural area on the other side of I-65 to the potential for flash flooding. So now, and look at this, Aisha, we've got a couple of new tornado warnings. There's Streeter, and there's the panhandle of LaSalle County. We're going to have to watch this guy. That may move into the southern portion of LaSalle County and then across Livingston, Fort Iroquois counties. And if this pattern holds up, could move toward Kankakee again as all these storms, although the track, see if this is correct and stay with us for about 30 minutes, but it looks like it's trying to inch a little farther to the north. Does it look like that to you?
Yeah, it does. And it looks like, too, I guess the greater tornado threat looks to be farther south of I-80, because that's where the atmosphere is a little bit more stable. But yeah, it's moving off to the east, and that's what I mentioned earlier. We're going to have to really keep an eye on that.
This guy right here.
Yeah.
So if you're in LaSalle County, keep your guard up. It's not in our immediate area yet for a tornado warning, but you get the idea that it is moving in our direction. There's the panhandle of LaSalle County. So this is where the actual tornado indication is there. And is that radar indicated, Joey, or is that on the ground? Do we know? We'll take a look here. Radar indicated for now. These guys have been on the ground. So keep your guard up across northwest Indiana. And again, flooding the potential as we see these thunderstorms continue to propagate off to the north and east and head toward Chicago.
Brent, we just got a report, the National Weather Service chat, Livingston County, 5-inch diameter hail.
Ooh.
That was around 5:30.
You're looking at, it's probably my hand
5
right
inches.
there, 5 inch. Ooh. You know, and JC shared that one vehicle you mentioned earlier, brand new car. Totaled, back window knocked out of it. Where do you go? You talked about earlier, you know, getting into a garage. If you don't have a garage,
I know. What do you do?
What do you do? You know, put the mattress over the car? I think you're in deep trouble. You know, that's the toughest part of what we do, is we sit here and we can sit here all day long and look at these radar signatures and say, hey, this is danger, danger, danger. But when you're out in it, it's a different animal. There's what it looks like. Just as we switch that image, let's go back to the map I've got here. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Just watch this guy pop up right here. Now, this is along the Fox River and eastward from Aurora, Yorkville, down to Morris. For this whole cluster here is moving off to the north and east, and you can see what's going on here. So once again, new severe thunderstorm warning there. 1-inch diameter hail possible there as this whole line starts to progress closer and closer to more populated areas in Chicago. So far, Aisha, we've seen this south, and we've certainly seen some damage. You saw a little flash of that image that showed the hailstones. Those were couple inches, 2-3 inch diameter hailstones, and you saw some of the stuff that JC was holding up early. And if you guys in the control room, do we have any word on JC was headed toward Aroma Park to check on the people that may be trapped in their basement? We can figure out that stuff. But again, tornado warnings across northwest Indiana. He's still en route to get there. And again, this may be difficult travel. This is not the time to do sightseeing in Kankakee County. They've had some serious issues. We've had a fire station impacted. We've had the people covering for that fire station. This is the number of power outages. These are customers without electricity. 6,500 customers in Kankakee County hit hard by that wedge tornado that was on the ground. You saw some of the images we shared earlier. That was over an agricultural area, but it did impact some structures there. And here's where we stand now. That cell is east, and it's moving away into more agricultural area. We have a new active tornado warning just west of LaSalle County. The little panhandle there, that's a radar indicated. And we have a new severe thunderstorm warning that's out along the Fox River and eastward. So this stuff is going to push into Wheaton, into DuPage County, into Will County, and eventually the city of Chicago. So don't let your guard up. If you step outside, there's lightning. Not that we talked about the dog, let the dog inside, open the garage door, let the dog have his little palace in there, but don't go outside. With lightning, this is not the night to do that. Aisha?
You know, I was just watching that storm. It's a tornado warned storm just outside of our viewing area. So I just want to show you really quickly. It's for Marshall County, hail size 1.5 inches, but this is moving towards the panhandle of LaSalle County. So I just want to zoom in really quickly and show you this particular storm. Again, we've been watching it closely because it's getting closer and closer to LaSalle County. And if it does actually start to include LaSalle County, then obviously we'll have to continue with this coverage. But this is the strong storm that is now has a tornado warning attached to it. It is moving off to the east. Here's LaSalle County. There's I-39. So this storm is going to be crossing I-39 soon, actually. Let's talk about some safety here, because I think as far as the tornado warnings go, we'll still see our highest tornado risk south, because that's where the atmosphere is a little bit more unstable. We've got temperatures generally in the 60s. Farther north of I-80, we've got 30s and 40s.